Hello, welcome to Sticker Madness. This is a podcast about bad movies. I'm going to end all my sentences like that, just because it sounds fun and cool. I think that's how tough guys talk, right?
Sunday. Travis Rex.
That is how that works. I didn't make that connection. I wasn't going for the Sunday voice. I was just saying, hi, I'm Justin. I think I was doing strong bad, actually.
Or once a year when that same guy sells used cars on the radio.
Yeah, right.
Come down now. These deals are crazy.
They won't last, even though they will, because that's not how car dealerships work.
We might even give you a car. A car and a pizza. We might pay you for the car and the pizza.
Okay. All right. So... here we are. This is likely going to be the last moving non-movies episode.
Hooray!
Hooray! We bought a house. And we move in next week. Except for I won't be there for that because I'll be in Boise hanging out with Sam.
Sort of. We'll be seeing Kansas and... parts of Utah I haven't driven through in quite some time.
Yeah. Well, on Thursday when we record these episodes, I won't be recording. I'll be hanging out with people and not worrying about this podcast for a little bit at least. And then Sam and I are talking about doing some sort of live stream because we are going to drive my aged BMW Z3 all the way from Boise to St. Louis, which is the route we're taking is going to be 26 hours. And we're going to try to do it in basically 2 days. So we might do some live streaming along the way and see how that goes on the Stinker Madness Facebook page.
I'm going to take the Samson
Mm-hmm.
The Samson Go mic, and it plugs directly into, I have a cable that will plug the mic into just a phone, and then you get basically the same quality I'm doing now in the field.
Well, we've got a couple problems. Again, I said it's a BMW Z3. I don't fit in it with the top down.
Well, I wasn't talking about we're driving right now.
It's loud.
Justin counted 36 cows before he lost count.
I think we should do some shit like that.
We might try that. But I feel like it's going to be when we get to the hotel, we can do blow by blows. Yeah.
Well, I think we should sprinkle in some madness because you never know what's going to happen on the highway, right?
Gas station stops.
Yeah. There's those do happen, but I'm talking about while you're on the road. Crazy things can happen.
Absolutely.
UFOs and... Oh, no, maybe it'll be more like Cannonball Run. We'll see a hitchhiker and she'll get her boobs out and we'll be like, "Gah?" And then she'll be an assassin? I can't remember what happens.
And we'll drive right by because it's a two-seater.
Goodbye!
Yeah, lady's flashing her tits. Weird. You see that giant ball of yarn back there? That was more interesting to me at this stage in my life.
Yeah, so that should be interesting. And then we'll probably take the next week off so we can get things established because, all of our podcasting equipment's still in storage and we got to get that moved in and decide which room we're going to record and such as that. But I would expect all three of us, to be back in the studio in 2 weeks doing normal shit.
Movies not moving.
Right. Oh, God, I can't wait to be not moving.
This has been a really rough TV show patch for me because, and this week is going to be thank God you got a house because it's happening now to me.
Okay.
What I watched on television since the last time we recorded was either the NBA playoffs or Major League Baseball, and that is it.
It's pretty sporty right now. The Stanley Cup is going on, too. The NHL playoffs.
I haven't had a dog in that fight in a while.
I live in St. Louis, and they are currently playing, but apparently they're not playing well, or they may have already lost. I don't know, because I just don't pay attention. I like hockey, but I'm not at the position in my life where I can pay attention to hockey. I might get there because I like hockey more than I like baseball. So we'll see. But the stadium is on the other side of St. Louis, so you got to drive a little ways. Whereas the baseball stadium's basically just right across the river. So I'll probably attend more baseball games. In fact, I'm going to a baseball game the day after you get here.
Fantastic. It's a treat. I enjoy Major League Professional Baseball in person.
You're not going because you have to get on a plane to go back to Idaho.
I know. I'm saying you'll enjoy it. It'll be a treat.
Yeah.
The Dodgers game was fantastic. And another great moment in radio history, I caught this baseball that I'm holding up that you can't see, but Justin can.
Yep.
Barehanded it.
Ferris Bueller.
Some guy outdid me last game.
He saved a child's life?
It was a really long foul into left and into the cheap seats. And this guy actually did a dive over one row and gloved it and then turned and landed on his side on the armrests and was okay, and then held the ball up and he got it. Like the whole crowd. It was one of the bigger cheers in that inning was this guy gloving foul ball after he dove over a row of bleachers. Great. Or seats anyway.
Yeah, and sadly, while he was holding the ball up in the air, he got too excited and fell back over the railing and fell to his death.
Death. The
hell of a catch,
ball girl was able to gather up the ball, threw it back into the crowd. Somebody else died. It was a massacre.
Yep. Hell of a catch. All right. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of the playoffs as well. I was thinking about talking about that a little bit because my predictions have still held. The Celtics and the Mavs are still in it. You were big on the 76ers, and they're out. 76ers.
The Suns are out, too.
The Suns are out. Yeah, you said Suns, too.
I picked against you and Sean's horses, and I was obliterated by those decisions.
Although I am losing confidence rapidly in anybody being able to beat the Heat and the Warriors, other than the Heat.
Buckets was nonsense last
Jimmy
game.
Buckets is legit.
And damnedest thing, what happened? Because with the Warriors, you're like, Klay Thompson, he's diminished because of the injury, but he still gets the numbers up there, and he's been going to the rim a lot more, so maybe he's not diminished. And we got a bunch of guys that you really haven't heard of that aren't big names. That's the damnedest thing about basketball. If you actually run an offense, you can really beat the shit out of the teams that aren't running an offense, which is like virtually every other basketball team.
Yeah. I agree. I absolutely concur. That's why I got so behind the Celtics. I was like, Jesus, these guys
play
even when things go badly, like if there's a transition and like the ball's bouncing all over the place, it still seems like they're like, okay, the ball is 15 feet above our heads at a degree of 67. That's when Jason Tatum, you go over to the elbow, and you other guys, because there's other guys on that team. Al Horford, you're down low. Like they have scenarios, and that's why I was so behind them.
Yeah.
And then it all fell apart to Jimmy Buckets, because that guy is just tough as nails.
Well, because of the sophisticated offense, which I think at this point, and we're going to put everybody to sleep here right now, Kerr seems to be running a very complicated variation of a motion offense that combines a lot of elements out of a triangle offense. Boy, is that thing. They run a lot of different plays.
Yeah, they do.
Brad Stevens runs defense so sophisticatedly that his offense is basically transition.
Mm-hmm.
Once they make it past transition, they don't really have a lot of plays. Spoelstra, Jimmy Buckets is awesome, but this is a Pat Riley guy and a video coordinator. Spoels runs an offense and a defense. They're going to be tough.
They're going to be tough. The Heat are legit, like real legit and scary legit. Yeah. So I'm sticking with it. Don't discount Luka. Luka Ball. I like Luka Ball. He just needs to have a little fun and things get exciting. So
if the fucking Warriors make circus threes when they're not running their offense, though, what do you do?
Luka can make circus threes pretty good with the rest of them.
A bunch. Yeah. I watched that game. He made threes he shouldn't have shot, and they lost by 30 or something?
Yeah. No, the Warriors are good. What you drinking, Sam? We didn't ever get to that.
Weirdly, I'm having a Bud Light seltzer hard soda. Wait, no, isn't it just Bud Light hard soda? Also, isn't it just hard soda by Anheuser-Busch? Why does it have Bud Light on it? It tastes like Shasta Cola.
Show me the can. That's not in the frame of the Skype call. I haven't seen one of those. Okay. All right.
It tastes like Shasta, but it's 5%.
Shasta tastes good. Okay. Shasta tastes good. I'm having a Koenig Pilsner, which seems redundant to me. I've never had one of these. It's pretty good, but come on, guys. Do better on the name. Koenig Pilsner? That's like saying German beer.
Beer.
Beer by Germans. Yeah, no duh.
It was like when we were growing up in Boise, Idaho. For many years, there was a restaurant called the El Gringo.
Mm-hmm.
The white guy.
Yep. It closed down. It didn't make it.
I ate there once, and it wasn't any good.
Yeah. Maybe you didn't get it because you were the Gringo, the El Gringo.
No, across town, the Acapulco is where it's at.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about a movie. Sam, I meant to warn you on this one, but I know you didn't get the HBO and you're too busy watching the baseballs anyways.
Oddly enough, we were supposed to have watched this a couple weeks ago and didn't have time because it was my mom gets a free pay-per-view every month because they have to do shit like that to keep people doing the dish business. And we didn't have time.
Well, it's currently streaming on HBO. It's called The Matrix Resurrections. Yes, I didn't go to the theater to watch this. I wanted to. I was stoked about it. And then the reviews came out, and I was like, well, maybe I'm not so stoked about it. I'll wait. I'm busy. I'm moving. You know, I got time for this shit. So it's currently streaming on HBO. Sitting at a 63 Metacritic score. What's the users got here? Not good. Like a 6 something. I don't know. IMDb's website got stupid. Their phone works so much better. Oh, 5.7 on IMDb users. That's really low.
That's very low.
Yeah, for a big box office, like even shit movies at least get like 6. If you throw a couple explosions in them, like each explosion is like worth 3 stars, right?
Yeah, and also, like, there's usually a busload of fans that cook the books on IMDb.
Yep. Right, that's true. I think the reverse might have happened here a little bit, a little reverse cooking. My friend said it was stupid, and so I hate it because it's not actually The Matrix, because none of them are. Okay. Let me back up here.
But you digress.
I do. I'm going to digress a lot here, which is, I guess, kind of thematic to the film I'm talking about, or the franchise, because they digress. I liked it.
Nice.
I actually had a really good time with it. Is it The Matrix? Is like on par with the first one? Of course not, you stupid assholes. Is it as dumb as John Wick 2 and 3 and like is far departure on quality as those are? Yeah, it is. But so like Matrix 2 and 3, we just did a big thing about the Matrix like right before I left, right? Because I reviewed all 3 of them to prepare for this movie and went on to diatribe and like, it's not as bad as people remember. Yeah, the Jesus thing is a little like what? And they totally ignored the Jesus thing in this, but I didn't hate them. Like even 2 and 3, I didn't hate them. I don't think they're good.
Was at the point one of the longest action sequences that was a combination of basically 3 different set pieces.
Yeah, you said the exact same thing on that review. And that's the only thing you ever talk about Matrix Reloaded. Oh, the freeway chase.
You can actually turn the movie off after that. And actually, I think it's like at minute 23, turn it on. And at like minute, 70 something, turn it off. Whatever it is.
I don't think I hate any of them as much as you do. I don't think they're good. But here's the thing is that I don't think it was possible to follow them up, just like John Wick. It's impossible to follow it up. The idea is explored and it's done, and you can never recapture that magic ever. Don't care who's writing it. It's gone.
I think you could.
Okay.
I think you could if you did like what they did, which I don't know, I haven't seen, but it sounds like it worked out. If you do like what HBO did with The Watchmen. If you decide to make a series that either happens before or well after, and you don't involve any of the actual characters from the known piece, you can make a continuation to this universe.
You can make Matrix adjacent. Absolutely. With totally different characters. Completely agree. That one video game was so good.
Well, the video games are canon.
Even though but it's still Matrix adjacent because Neo's not in it, right? The front end with Niobe on the Matrix anime thingy dingy, that was really good.
The whole Animatrix was good.
There's things to explore within the Matrix universe. Absolutely, I completely agree with you. But when you put it in the theater, guess who's got to be in it? There's nobody. Keanu's not in it. I'm not going.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Larry Fishburne can be not in it, and people. I guess they didn't go to it, did they?
Yeah,
See,
they might have if Larry would have been there.
Proves my point. If you're gonna put it on the big screen, people want to see the same people.
Did they bring back Joey Pants?
No, Joey Pants died, man. He's dead.
I heard early on that they were going to bring back Joey Pants, and I was like, they're going to bring back Pants and not Fishburne? I'm out.
See, there we go, Sam. We just wrote the script. Joey Pants and Johnny Legs in a buddy cop within the Matrix.
Yeah.
That's my movie.
Him just eating steak sandwiches constantly on Stakeout. I know it's not real, but I don't care.
Okay, so kind of what I enjoyed about it is all those things I just said, the movie says as well. And I think that probably pissed a lot of people off, but it was in a very tongue-in-cheek manner. If you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. That it's basically like, look, what the fuck are we supposed to do? You guys have been wanting this forever. You loved it. We made 2 more after the first one. You hated those. What do you want from us? What do you want from us? That's the entire premise of the Matrix Resurrections. It's very Anchorman 2.
Yeah.
Like pointing at itself and saying, what do you want here? Because you're not going to get it. You got it already. We're not going to do the same thing ever again. We're going to explore ideas, not just regurgitate the same stuff. And I laughed my ass off at it, actually. I was like, oh, Lana's saying some shit right here, and I like it.
I think that was her, like, the last day that you work at the call center, and you're in the last 5 minutes of that day, and you know that you're never going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And the person flips you some shit, and you're like, listen up, motherfucker. I was just going to give you a free barbecue set, but now you're not going to get it because you're a fucking asshole.
Yep, that's exactly what she did.
Because she's officially not working in that town again.
Yeah.
And with Sense8 failing as bad as it failed,
mm-hmm.
and even with me, because I tried to watch it and I couldn't. This is a man who's seen Cloud Atlas 4 times, and I couldn't watch that shit.
Well, I don't know how you're going to take it. And I honestly can't give a do or a don't on it because my tastes are so weird about this particular film. Like, yeah, I liked it because it was basically giving a finger at every fanboy, and I'm a huge Matrix fanboy.
Yeah.
But I can take a little criticisms like, hey, you know what? fuck off. And I'm like, yeah, I should probably fuck off a little bit. I'm being kind of fanboy right now. But I think a lot of people don't have that capability. They're like, fuck you, there's Fishburne's not in it. Yeah, because god damn it. Okay, how are we going to address it? I mean, like, it was really, I don't want to say meta because that's so beat. But the way that the movie is brought to us is like, I really liked it. I thought it was great. And the action was good. Obviously, the visual effects and the CGI has greatly improved. So that wasn't a problem. Not a bit of it pissed me off. None of it was confusing. There was no Matrix Jesus bullshit. It just was fun.
Yeah, you look at it on the outside with, the Wachowskis are pretty much done. Mm-hmm. They can make whatever the hell they want to make with their own cash, and they'll actually probably make money that way because they can turn a profit if they don't spend too much. And they now have a bunch of people that really care to work with them who will go on points with special effects and things like that, or music or anything like that. On the outside looking in, it's like the studio won't make it without Keanu, so he's in.
Yeah.
That's the only person that has to be in on this.
Carrie-Anne Moss really isn't doing anything, so she's in.
No, then Lana's like, you could use some cash, couldn't you? And she's like, yeah, you're in.
Yeah, you're in.
You're in. You get some cash.
Bud, come on in, bud. Water's fine. I just think, like, I'll reverse this, Sam. As I recommend to you, yeah, do. But go in with the mindset of, this is kind of, there's going to be some Anchorman 2-y finger pointing in this movie. Don't go in with, I want to see Matrix 1 again.
I don't think that could ever happen.
Right.
Matrix 1 is more about the process than it is about the story, even though the story is pretty decent.
Yeah, world building.
Or just how they made the goddamn thing.
Well, that too.
The filmmaking was superb. And no one had ever done like half the shit that they were doing.
Yeah.
That was inventive. But this description makes me want to watch it more. I was going to watch it anyway.
Yeah.
And then there was another, the Van Man, friend of the program, Portland Ben. He was like, yeah, it's entertaining, but it's basically just a pile of scenes. And I was like, ooh, I want to watch it more now.
Oh, that's an interesting take. Kind of. There is a very strong thread running throughout the entire thing. But yeah, I'm pilot scenes. I could back that.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was fun. Do it. I like it. I'm gonna do my Tucker impersonation. Yeah, I liked it.
Yep. Give it to Mikey. He likes everything.
Yeah. Watch it. Okay, next, since we were trying to watch TV shows, I actually have been watching a TV show, and last week, we might have talked about this, or we might have talked about it after the show. I can't remember, but I've got some new thoughts if we did talk about it last week. But it's The Man in the High Castle, Amazon Prime's original. The one thing that I forgot to even mention to you, and is very relevant to fans of this show, is the strongest actor in it is a very surprising performance by Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and guess what? He's not a bad guy. What?
He's not a bad guy in Nemesis either. I love him in that movie.
Nemesis. I can't remember him in Nemesis. But yeah, he's really like, he's this very kind, compassionate, stoic, obviously Japanese man. And it's such a like, dude, he's really good in this role. Like, why is he always the bad guy?
He's like, sorry, bro, I'm from Cali.
Yeah.
I'm going to go surfing now.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that to you, but yeah, he's, and then I started season 4 and I don't know if he was like, yeah, I'm busy, or whatever, but he's not in season 4, the final season. They kill him off in the first episode and he didn't even show up to shoot his own death scene. They did the cheap death where the hand flops down, the bloody hand. Oh, he's dead. And then you find out later it was him. And I'm like, damn it. Did you not pay him? You gotta pay that guy.
There's always a chance that it's a Canadian casualty.
What's the Canadian? Is that like the tuxedo?
No, that by law, if you hire an American and you're already at your American quota.
Oh, your cap.
If you're already at your American cap on Canadian production, then one has to go out.
I don't think it would have been him. Considering he's like the guy. He was a major character. And then they just offed him. Like, that was the weakest part of the show so far, I think. DJ Qualls is in it. You remember DJ Qualls? Oh, excuse me.
Yes.
What's up with him?
I don't know. But Carrie's getting pretty old. So maybe it was he just got tired of doing it.
Yeah, maybe. But one more season, Carrie. You were kind of instrumental to the plot. But DJ Qualls is in it. Hadn't seen him for a long time. He's a weird looking dude, but he's a pretty decent actor. And what you kind of mentioned was the Philip K. Dick thing. That you're not a big Philip K. Dick guy.
I feel like I should be about as much of a Philip K. Dick guy as there is, because I've read the bulk of his work, and people worship him. I'm like, this is scattered, and he loses track of his best ideas.
Where'd you read the bulk
Man
of his
in the
work?
High Castle was good because the two that are very good to read, if you read past the short story collection, which I don't recommend that most people read past the short story collection, which in the printed version that I have caps itself off with the Minority Report, which is a fantastic adventure through bureaucracy.
Right.
Nothing like the movie. It's wonderful. I really like that story. Out of the novels, like, it's not even funny how much Blade Runner is telling virtually the same story than Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. Man in the High Castle and A Scanner Darkly both embrace his amphetamine-driven paranoia, or he himself embraces his amphetamine-driven paranoia. In A Scanner Darkly, he's basically writing it as a rehab piece because it was one of the times he came out. And it's very, very personal because that's kind of what he felt was happening to him, right? The movie does a really good job portraying what happens in that book. Linklater actually put it on screen. I just don't think it's something that should ever be put on screen.
You know who's in that movie? Fun fact. Alex Jones.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling everybody that because, and I also go,
wow.
Hey, remember when Alex Jones was this liberal superstar because he was just fanning flames, and those were the conspiracy theories at that point were all George Bush conspiracy theories, right?
Right.
So,
well, it turns out they weren't conspiracy theories because he confessed to it this week. Anyways, go ahead.
George Bush confessed to being able to hit a really good drive.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, he did. He always confesses to that one. Okay.
But The Man in the High Castle is the same sort of thing, only it was a better story. It wasn't sort of a personal, like... The Scanner Darkly is almost autobiographical. And he just changed the dates and the names enough to make it not his autobiography of rehab. With The Man in the High Castle, he was writing a story that really embraced his own sense of paranoia, and it works. Beyond that, it's also like at a length that I'm sure that they expanded upon the ideas that he sort of got lost. A big thing with Philip K. Dick's work is he opens a lot of doors and then goes, ooh, there's another door over here. And he never explores any of his own ideas. And that thing is not long enough to have been a 4-season show if they were very, very, what's the right way to put that? If they handle
Dickian?
It's a very honest and, straightforward interpretation of the source material. There wasn't enough source material there.
If it's Dickian, it's definitely not Dickian then. So, before I get into what I think of the show, I have to preface that I haven't finished it. I was in a serious hurry trying to get it done before this episode, but I'm about halfway through the final season. I don't know where it's going. I mean, like, that's one thing is like not like I don't know where this is going at all. I understand this through plot line, and I should say that the Dicky inside of it really doesn't kick in until about season 2. Most of it's world building. Or not season 2, season 3 is when the Dickian stuff really kicks in. The rest of it is just, what if Nazis ruled the world? Like, I think as far as like getting distracted and opening doors and exploring ideas, I do think the show does a really good job of exploring what if Nazis ruled the world? What if the Reich had worked out? And like the flaws with the Reich. Like there's a really strong subplot line about the big Nazi. He's not the Mein Führer, but he's John Smith. He's played by a guy named Rufus Sewell. Does a pretty good job. And his, because of the eugenics thing,
Goebbels or Goebbels or whatever his name was.
Yeah. Well, no, about like wasteful eaters or useless eaters. That's what they were called. If you were not perfect, if you had a disability, you couldn't do work for the Reich. So you were a useless eater, and guess what happened? Or the idea behind it was, guess what would happen? You're done. You turn yourself in, or your family turns you in, and you go on a train and you go bye-bye. I thought that plot point within the show is really well explored. Like, what if that happened to a high-ranking official's child? And like the idea of a test that you have to take as a Nazi to say you're good enough to be a Nazi, like a medical test.
Yeah.
Like, are you strong enough to be a Nazi? Well, nope, you didn't make the cut. And so you're growing up waiting for that one day that you take a test to see if you're even healthy enough to be a Nazi. And it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. The Reich was not only seriously evil, but really fucking dumb. Like, stupid. Like, did you guys not see any problems with, like, that this could be a problem down the road? No, yeah, perfect. God, your fucking hubris is just so...
And Rand fixed all of it by going, well, if you made it through this much of life and you're a prime mover, then you're not a consumer. So then you can form your own society and everybody else can just die on their own, I guess.
Right. Yeah. So there's some fun ideas explored within. And obviously, it's not just about Nazis. What if Nazis won the war? It's if Japan also won the war and the entire world split between Japan and the fascists, and also like some ideas explored. Well, would you, if this was the case and you were forced to, would you rather live in the Reich or would you rather live under Japanese rule? Some interesting ideas there. The plot is like, you could write one of those, you could take the plot and not so disguise it as a clever social commentary show and have like put it on one of those like Nazi zombie movies. Like, that's the type of plot. Like, where'd these Nazi zombies come from? Well, they came from this Philip K. Dick MacGuffin. And like everybody would think, oh, it's a silly, corny Nazi zombie show, and it would be the exact same plot of this. It's just, this has got a lot more, if you want to think about these things, you're allowed to, kind of. It's not great. There's some holes in it, for sure. Some like, why would you do this, ideas, like the Terry Gagawa thing just pisses me off so bad. Like, you gotta keep that guy in the show. But other than that, it's fine. I'm not really going to give it a due. Like, you probably already saw it. Like, everybody probably already watched it, right? Was it that point in time where streaming shows were, like, new-ish?
It's probably why Carrie left, actually. I knew a guy that was working on this show. And
guest of the friend of the show, Joe Foljam, worked on the show.
Yeah. They both there. So this show had two different crews and two different locations as well. So it was hard to shoot because there was a Toronto unit and a Vancouver unit.
Yeah.
And I knew a guy that, besides Joe, so I know two people on this show, that the things got tense at the Toronto unit. He would disappear for months at a time when the show was being shot. And I remember when they were about to start shooting, because it made 4 and that was it, right?
Mm-hmm. Which there's not there, even with the ideas and the plot, the thread that it continues, there's not more than 4.
There's not more than 4, which will bring me to my next point. The reason why Robert Heinlein kept paying Philip K. Dick's rent. He was talking about how hard the show was to make and versus any show he'd ever worked on. And how diminishing the returns were. Like, the viewership was like, Amazon was keeping it on just because they already wrote the checks.
Yeah.
And they'd like, well, we don't only have airtime, but like we have need for content, so we're going to keep this thing going, but nobody's watching it.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was happening. This was right at the... Whoa, Prime is an option? Like, it was 2019 that this show ended. And I remember, like, oh, everybody's watching all the streaming shows, and people are watching The Man in the High Castle, and it's always being plugged and stuff. And then it kind of just disappeared, and nobody talked about it ever again.
Yeah, Jeff was saying, because they started watching about midway through season, or in the release, so many months after season 3 comes out, all of a sudden, like, people start watching. And our friend Mike was like, so if they renew it, are you going to go back on it? And he was like, 1, it can't be renewed. And 2, if they did, I would fucking quit. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But I don't know. Sam, your queue's pretty full as far as TV shows. I'm going to tell you to go ahead and skip it. Everybody else, if you're looking for something to... Like, you've done all the things, and the only thing else you got is more murder shows you can watch with your spouse. Throw on Man in the High Castle. It's not bad.
Leading me to my next point about Philip K. Dick. Not really leading me, but I'm going to make it anyway. Why did Robert Heinlein consistently just show up and write him checks?
I honestly don't even know what you're talking about. Is this a joke, like, to get to the other side?
No.
Or because his dick was stuck in the chicken?
Clark and Heinlein knew that Dick was just busting his brain out and not paying rent, buying amphetamines, intending to sell half of them, taking most of them. But he would stay up sometimes and write at somewhat unreasonable clips. Like, he'd chew up a bunch of reds and then he'd crank out 180 pages before he fell asleep. Okay. Which is why his writing's so scattered. But having read a couple of Harry Turtle Dove novels, which are basically inspired directly by The Man in the High Castle, I think that's why Heinlein showed up, to just keep writing those checks, to pay his rent, make sure he was okay, not really okay, but make sure he was like, because Heinlein was never like, you need to go to rehab, I'm not going to write you any more checks. He would like, you're going to chew up a bunch of amphetamines this month and like crank out a short story or a novella, or spend the next like unreasonably short amount of time writing a 265 page to 301 page novel? Yeah, probably. Cool. I'll pay your rent again. Because your ideas are incomplete, but they are good. And he's inspired people like Harry Turtle Dove, who, when you have these alternate history novels, which is what he basically specializes in, I've read a couple of them, they're 600 to 700 fucking pages long. When you actually explore all those ideas, they'd probably make a fine 4-season show. And if you were making a very direct adaptation of it. And I think that that's what Heinlein always saw in Philip K. Dick, was that I got extra money, and this guy he's not worth arguing with. He's my friend. And his ideas are good, and he writes prolifically in terms of how long he actually spends writing. So I'm going to go ahead and pay his rent for like 15 years, I think. I think Heinlein paid his rent for like off and on. He probably didn't pay every rent check, but he would just show up with his checkbook, and I'm pretty sure that Heinlein paid his rent for like a really long time. And I've read as much. He saw that in him, is that perhaps, and he saw something else in him too. I'm not sure what it was, but that's what I can directly see, is the people that were inspired by him that took it to the next level. And that's what maybe Heinlein saw.
Well, maybe you might have a differing opinion of Dick's work than, say, I do, because I haven't read everything. I've read, obviously, Minority Report. And I read another short story called Beyond Lies the Wub.
That one's
which
awesome.
I thought was fantastic. And in both of those, these doors are opened and unclosed, because in both of them, at least, Dick wanted the reader to ask their own questions and build what's next, especially with Beyond Lies the Wub. There's not an answer. It's just, okay, interesting. So I think maybe that might have been, I'm not going to freaking pretend that I studied Philip K. Dick in college, but maybe there's a chance that was the point.
Trancers is good.
And that's what Heinlein wanted, was asking more questions than getting answered.
And this maybe, I think you just helped me clarify my feelings and why I said you should absolutely read the short stories, because that's how I feel about Philip K. Dick. Under 50 pages, the man is fucking brilliant. Beyond 50 pages, shit gets dicey with that guy.
You could say the same thing about Stephen King a little bit, right? And we have on the show before.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I don't take anything away from the guy, and I don't take anything away from the idea of The Man in the High Castle, whether the book is good or not.
It's good.
Again, opening those doors is that's the great platform to do it, is that concept. So, yeah, I don't know. I would like to I should probably spend some more time with Philip K. Dick and read a little bit more.
As I said, if you like that short stuff, Man in the High Castle's not long. He was incapable of long novels. You should probably...
It's not Shogun?
should probably read that one.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't think I would read... I have a weird relationship with Scanner Darkly, because I read it when I was low emotionally. And it was like, wow, that was a fucking perfect thing to read. I don't know if I would have liked it very much if I was feeling good about life. If you're low, it's kind of a good book to read.
Mental health, season 4, they touch on, you're so perfect, Japanese. Well, what about all your troops that have PTSD? Oh, we don't deal with that. Like, some good ideas are explored. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to wrap up with that. You got any other TV shows you want to talk about, Sam, before we move on to listener feedback?
The Dodgers have been getting the bat on the ball.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff on the Dodgers. We got a new patron. I want to shout out and give a thank you for the support. Dash 80. Thank you so much for supporting the show. I'm glad you stuck with us through this transition. It's very kind to support the show. If you would like to support the show, go to patreon.com/Sneaker Madness. Help us keep the equipment running, and the website and the podcast hosting, which all costs a buttload of money.
You can also just put a blank check in an envelope and send it to Sando Sam the Sandwich Man, General Delivery, USA.
Throw it up in the air and a bird will pick it right up. We pay those birds. That's the other thing, is we need money to pay the birds for delivering money.
I've been sweet talking the carrier pigeons.
It'll get there eventually. We've got a follow-up from Clausy from his email last week when we did our top 10. He said, "Hey, Justin and Sam, just finished listening to the top 10 episode. Work riding me hard at the moment. Very left field on what I thought would be in the top 10s. Nice one, though. Very spread out. Musicals, soppies, and all. None of either of your top 10 were in mine. Sad smiley face, or sad cryy face. No Turbo Kid. What? Fixed. Aha! 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 I had Turbo Kid at 13.
I forgot about Turbo Kid, but it would have been in the 20s. I loved it. I loved it.
Loved it. And why couldn't we put it in the top 10, Sam? Why don't we say why we can't fix that problem? You want to go first?
Well, I mean, it wasn't like that good. It was awesome for what it was.
Yeah,
it's a great Aussie budget movie, and I think it was excellently performed. But it's not like it didn't change my life.
No, it did not change my life. That's an important thing. I had things in my top 10 that actually literally changed my life.
Yeah, that
gave me a
read about the conflict in Northern Ireland for like 4 fucking weeks, maybe like 4 fucking years.
Didn't make you adopt a kid.
Didn't do that. Mm-hmm. Didn't make me unhate musicals for as long as it was on, right?
No, it was okay. So here's the thing: when we put it in these terms, Turbo Kid is a great movie. Can't sing its praises enough. But I got probably about a week and a half of thinking about Turbo Kid and how great of a movie it was, and then I moved on to something else, like taxes or what other bullshit adults have to deal with. Like it's great. It's fun. I love it. I'd like to watch it right now. But yeah, not top 10. That's for us, at least.
No.
So moving on. A few I've never seen before and a few that would never cross my radar, but will defo be checking out 1917 and Shadow Dancing. The latter, I do remember it coming out, but just assumed it was another Hollywood travesty on The Troubles. He uses a capital T there, so it's he's talking about The Troubles. Mm-hmm. But we'll defo check it out now. Thanks for that. Tell Sam, not only did he have 2 Clive Owen films, but he also had Bruce Willis in Moonrise Kingdom. So he says you're definitely a closet Bruno fan.
Oh, no.
2 Bruce Willis movies. Talking about an animation Oscar, Spideyverse good, Wall-E better. Yes, Wall-E is still better in my opinion. However, Wall-E came out in 2009.
2009, and I don't know if I think Wall-E's better.
Really? Okay.
Because I watched it with a 68-year-old and a 7-year-old that both came away with the same life-changing experience in Spider-Verse. The ability for that movie to speak to the human condition of anyone of any age, I think, is extremely unique.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, so we adopted Isaiah before or after Spider-Verse came out because we all saw it in the theater. I bought it. I still have not watched it with him because we got it on disc right before we moved. So I'm curious to see. I know he saw it before. He loves it. But yeah, I'll have to watch that with him again. He goes on, but if you have never seen Song of the Sea, check it out. Not Irish bias, as it's an Irish animation. I'm sure it was nominated for some sort of American Oscar. Same crowd made Book of Kells and Wolfwalkers. Both also nominated for something Oscar-ish. I've listened to more Smabfuzz than watched Oscars. Get to the chopper, Clausy.
I do not want to piss you off right now, Clausy, but same people that made Book of the Kells. Book of the Kells is a fun little movie. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. When I saw how much it cost, I was astounded because of the quality of animation that comes from other places and perhaps they just don't have the facilities for it, but Japan's doing better animation for $300,000, not $20 million.
Okay. So it's just the pound for dollar is what you're getting.
It's sort of like, I think a lot of people have that Incredible Me or whatever it is, the first one. People were really upset by how much that movie cost, I guess, versus like the animation quality against Pixar or anything. I'm like, yeah, but it was fun. I'm not like putting it in any top 10 list. I just thought that like, as somebody who puts his eyes on animation and really studies the craft of it, I thought that was a very thoughtful film. It was very good viewing. Mm-hmm. The animation was extraordinarily subpar for how much it cost.
Okay. All right. I don't know anything about that. I do know that Song of the Sea was nominated for Best Animated Feature Film of the Year. It did not win.
I'll have to check that one out.
Let's IMDb, you kind of suck. 2015. Can I click on 2015 Oscars and it'll tell me who did win? It should just be like one click, but it's not. I got to scroll down. Hold on here. Hold on. I got it. This is exciting. Selma, Grand Budapest, Whiplash, American Sniper. Oh, sound editing. Really? Interstellar was nominated, but go fuck yourself. That movie's sound was terrible. Hobbit: The Battle of Five Armies is the one I would have guessed for that. That's best short. God damn it. Make this easy, IMDb. Best animated feature film of the year was Big Hero 6. Huh. Okay. I thought Big Hero 6 was okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
What year?
2015.
Okay, because 2016, I'll mention the film that when you put your eyes on animation, you actually found out how they did it because it was all stop motion, that I was just like, brrr, freaking out about, telling everybody, making people watch, was Kubo and the Two Strings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you did like Kubo and the Two Strings. I also enjoyed it. I wouldn't have definitely not put it in my top 50.
But knowing that it's stop animation and not computer, you're like, impressive. That's fucking incredible. Yeah,
very impressive. Moana, I think we talked about that was on the outside looking in. Didn't quite make the cut. But we didn't ignore the animation at all. But WALL-E, I prefer to just about everything that's ever existed, but 2008. So more than 10 years. Sam, you got any final thoughts?
Dodgers are getting the bats on it.
Mm-hmm. Getting bats on them balls. They're whacking them the balls.
Whacking balls.
Whacking on the balls. Next week. Well, not next week, but when we return, we will stop at the top of the order. Speaking of baseball, we're going to start at the top of the order with me picking a movie currently streaming on Amazon Prime called Volcano, Fire on the Mountain, starring Dan Cortez.
No shit. Going to the garden in the valley of the jolly green giant. Remember when he was the pianist in Demolition Man? He's fucking awesome. Dan Cortez.
Yeah, well, if it's still streaming on Prime at that point, that will be the movie. So can't wait to give you guys some real stuff. And thank you for listening while we've been transitioning, and get to the chopper.